Living an authentic life can be much harder than it sounds. It's something I've struggled with, and it's made much harder when you start comparing yourself to others. This has only got worse with social media. Now we are bombarded with people's highlight reels that depict the perfect life, setting unrealistic expectations for ourselves. When you look at what society expects, you could consider that I'm failing. I've chosen to live in a tiny home and work part-time with minimal possessions. However, I know in my heart that I'm happier than I've ever been before. Over time, I'm moving closer to the authentic life that I crave, where I can celebrate simple joys, knowing in my heart that I'm exactly where I need to be.
It was a beautiful morning this morning. It was super cold, but it was stunning. We've had quite a lot of snow recently, but it's been quite poor weather days in the snow. So it's been like a lot of snow and then turns to slush and then ices over and then all that kind of stuff. So today I knew that it was going to be snowy and staying cold, but bright skies. So I was like, right, definitely a time to go out and have fun and play in the snow. So I took Sky out. She loves the snow. It's her favourite weather. So yeah, we were out for a good amount of time. I think we were out for like at least 4 hours. I'm not really sure how we were out for that long, considering that we didn't really stop moving that whole time, but I think I always underestimate how long that walk's going to take us. But it's a really nice walk. It's not very popular in the sense I don't think many people know about it. It's quite popular with mountain bikers. There's a section that they like. I'm not a mountain biker, so we only ever really see like one hiker maybe. So yeah, and it was lovely. And I had quite a slow morning because I didn't sleep super well last night. So, you know, I got out just as the sun was coming up really, which is still quite late in the day at the moment, late in the morning for that to happen. So yeah, it was just a stunning way to start the day. But yeah, I wanted to chat a little bit about living authentically and also how that can be hampered by comparing ourselves to others. And I'm the first one to admit that I'm guilty of doing this. I've done it, I still do it quite a lot, but I have noticed that I've done it less and I'm less affected by it as I've grown. And I think, again, now I'm 30, it seems to be one of those pivots in your life. You start reflecting on these things. And I realised that there are a few things that I do that really helped with this. So I thought I would share that with you today. I think the first thing to do to help stopping yourself comparing to others is to figure out what your idea of success is. So I think everyone's criteria for this is different. I think there's always a typical success that society puts on us, but that's never going to suit everybody, nor should it. We're all completely different. So my idea of success isn't maybe like having lots of possessions or high-powered job or big house, etc. Like my criteria are making sure that I look after my mental and physical health, and making sure that I have time to spend on nourishing activities that help that as well. So, you know, making sure I can spend lots of time in nature and doing lots of things like reading, writing, homemaking, cooking, things that just like nourish my soul. If I'm able to live that way, whichever way that happens, then that's my idea of success. And sure, there's always other things I could, you know, further down the line I'm looking to maybe do, but that's more than enough for me, and that really helps with like looking at others and thinking you don't get that idea of like inadequacy as much, because you know that they're living maybe their idea of success, but it's not necessarily yours. I think another big thing for me is spending less time online. So some of you may know I came off social media last year in August, I think, was when I came off Instagram, and that was kind of my biggest social media usage. Obviously still on YouTube, but I've come off of all the rest of them, and it has made a big difference, like ridiculously big difference, honestly, as a creator and also just as a human being, as a woman. I just feel so much healthier not constantly looking at people's highlight reels, which is all social media really is. And yeah, I think that's definitely something that I would encourage you look into, and maybe try and reduce your time spent online, but also, you know, look into any triggers you have. Maybe some people you follow do make you feel bad about yourself in your life. Maybe not intentionally perhaps, but maybe not the kind of people you should be following. So that one's important. I think another one is, I think particularly if you are trying something that is a bit different. So for me, stuff like being vegan, minimalist, living in a tiny home, it can feel a little bit lonely, and you do question yourself. So I think what helps with that is to find a like-minded community, and I think that's where the online stuff, going back, almost switching it now, really does help. So if you can be really intentional with the time you spend online, you can find that community. You might be lucky enough to find it in your local area with people, you know, in real life, but I think one of the blessings of the internet is you can connect with people all over the world. And I think for me, the main community I have is you guys, and speaking with you guys in the comments and stuff like that's made me feel so seen and understood and fulfilled, and I'm hoping that you guys feel the same. I know you guys chat in comments a lot, and that's really lovely to see, and I think it can give you that little boost sometimes to say, okay, I'm not completely weird, like there are other people like me, and it gives you that little bit of courage to keep going. And I think the last thing, is potentially the most important of all of them, is to be grateful and practice gratitude. And that's something that I've not really been intentional about until maybe the last few months. If you saw my video at the beginning of January, I was talking about things that I want to be focusing on this year and just going forwards in my life, and one of them is being more intentional about practicing gratitude. So I have a very simple method at the moment, which is I just write down 3 things I'm grateful for at the end of every day. But I have found that triggers me to think about the things through the day. So sometimes I'm doing something and I'm like, oh, this is great, this will be one of my gratitudes, you know. It just makes you think about it a bit more, and just realizing what we all have, and yeah, being grateful for that. And then you don't have that same urge to compare yourselves to others and feel bad about yourself in your life, because really our lives are really rich. You know, it can be the basic as being able to breathe. You know, some people can't move their body. Like there's so many things that a lot of us can be so grateful for. I think that's something that I'm going to continually work on to recognise in my own life, because then it just stops all that negativity swirling around in your head a little bit more. But at the same time, like, I'm not ever going to be perfect at this, and I think it's very human not to be. And comparing yourself to others also isn't always a negative. Sometimes sometimes it can boost you and be like, oh, I really like what they're doing, maybe I should try that. That's the best kind of comparison. That's like a motivation, I suppose, isn't it? But yeah, when it comes to feeling bad about yourself and your life, please, recognise that everyone is different, and I'm sure you are doing wonderfully with whatever you're doing with your life. But yeah, I just wanted to address that, particularly as someone being online. Like, what I show you guys isn't my 24/7. This is essentially a bit of a highlight reel. I try and be quite raw with you guys. I try and be quite honest. I don't want to lie to you. But if I'm really sad, or if I've got like stuff going on in my work that I'm worried about, my family, I'm not gonna necessarily talk about that, So I think, being online, I'm always super, super conscious to try and be as authentic and honest as I can, because I would never want people to feel worse about themselves by watching my videos. That's like absolute worst case scenario for me. So hopefully that doesn't happen. But yeah, and thank you for all your support on my channel as well, and being part of this community, because like I say, it's made my life so much richer for it. And I'm so grateful to see it growing and having like-minded souls on the internet with me. But anyway, I think I'm going to be doing a little bit of housework now, having a cup of tea. Sky is fast asleep on the sofa. She's knackered. And thank you, as always, very much for watching, guys, and I will see you next week.